going to give you a quick whistle-stop tour of our latest features and what's about to come out. So, some things you might have missed in our release notes. We've updated the supplements that are available in your Galaxies. Should be going out very soon. So previously you've only had further information. Now you'll have further information, contact details, images, adverts, all the things that you've got in your main sites. It's one of our very frequently requested feature requests. So that one's been delivered. We've also looked at announcements in Galaxies. At the moment, we've only updated existing Galaxies to have the control center elements, the database tables, but we're going to look at putting that on the front end too. So another big update for Galaxies. I'll show you some screenshots of our friendly URL structure and try and go into a bit of detail on that. And we've also updated our system maintenance tool. So anybody who is managing and updating their own system, doing any custom development, this is one of the areas that we're going to be updating and maintaining and improving over the coming weeks, months. And I've got a few screenshots of something that's coming soon, which is our updated Galaxies management interface. And we're re-looking at our authentication adapters for the control center as a whole. First one's going to be CAS. Might not have seen it because it's mostly used in higher ed, but hopefully then we'll be able to look at some of the SAML options that have been requested on our feature requests. So URLs are not the most exciting of things, but key, I think, if you're looking at SEO, search engine optimization, a lot of the feedback that we got was that people weren't terribly happy with a lot of our main content URLs having category IDs, document IDs as part of the URLs, and hard-coded bits and pieces of text, separators between words being underscores rather than dashes. So we've looked at that, taken that feedback on board and put together a whole package of little features that are going to work together, make your URLs much more SEO friendly. So one of those is introducing slugs to first documents and categories, which are unique strings, so little snippets of text that uniquely identify a document or a category on your system. So in our before and after, we've got quite a long URL before, but afterwards we'd have, say, something like the name of domain of your website / the category of your website and the title of your document. So it's much easier then to move between the document to the category just by removing the last bit of the URL. We'll be doing some more work on this. So we've got a little bit of work to do for our legacy customers, for you guys. If you newly installed, this would all just work magically out of the box. But to make sure that you're not losing your customers who've already got, these links have been out in the wild for a long time. If you want to move over, we're going to be adding some support functionality so that any links that come in using the old pattern get directed to any new patterns that you've got. You don't want to have any 404s going on there. This is the really technical and rather scary looking interface that we've got for managing URLs. Don't worry, we'll give you a big hug before you have to use this stuff. It's not that scary, I promise. But we can give you a hand if you want to go in and start changing this. System maintenance page is another one of our big changes. So we're starting to move all our technical features, our technical management features, into much friendlier user interfaces. So our clear cache items, which if you've been on our developer courses, you'll see that mentioned quite frequently. That's all moved into utilities now. And we've added controls to kind of restart any tasks which run in the background on your CMS. You might never have seen them, but it's something that your support guys might come across. Any that stall can now be just restarted on demand, quick task. Gives you much more control over your system and much more tools for kind of troubleshooting any problems that happen. Galaxies interface, so if we've got any heavy Galaxies users, we've been revisiting all these Galaxies site interfaces because they're quite old now, and it's part of our ongoing process of moving all of our old interfaces to our new Pulsar user interface library. We have revisited all of these. We're moving to the Pulsar design patterns, and we're trying to improve our common journeys. So we've got things like we've introduced a little search box for just searching through your Galaxies. We've looked at the information in your list, and we're trying to make the creation of a Galaxy a much more kind of like wizard style process, so that you're prompted for your key information, the things that are absolutely crucial that we get from you straight up, you have to provide those, but other information you can go in and edit later. These are now our management interfaces, so it's much friendlier, much less nasty. We've got a lot more in terms of like when we're adding administrators and sharing them with the Galaxies, it's a much more streamlined process, and we've gone through all of those interfaces. So the big thing that I wanted to mention, or at least discussing this, was kind of how we're dealing with your feature requests. I've mentioned that a few times in this so far. We do listen to all your feature requests, and they all come to me by email. And when we go through, so when a feature request comes through to me, essentially we prioritise those based on a scoring system. So we look at how many people are asking for it, how big a job it is, how risky it is to make those changes, and how much effort's required. So that gives us a little score, so I can tally up all the feature requests and work out what we're going to do next. So our current top 10, I go through and do this once a quarter because I get loads of feature requests. So we had our CAS control center authentication, which we're currently working on. And this is going to open kind of the doors for us to go in and add additional things. I think we had Azure. Microsoft Azure was another one which came through over a feature request. So this is going to open up the possibilities for us to be able to offer that to anybody who wants it. Galaxy Site Supplements was the second one, which we've already delivered. We're also looking at our publishing list interfaces. So if you're using our events module or our news module, that's something which a lot of people struggle with because you can't shift, you can't order the list to, say, order them by date, or it's always ordered by ID or title. And we're getting a lot of feedback that those are very hard to manage, and it doesn't help your service users when they come in to say, get rid of events which are currently live but have already passed. So we're looking at our tools to try and make that easier, show more information up front to assist people in these common tasks. So that we're working on the user interface for that at the moment, and it should be coming through to you in the next couple of months. We're also looking at, we heard your feedback on roles, and we're rejigging that to take category restrictions out so those are more reusable. We'll be looking at expanding our reports. So last Academy, but one, I spoke about reports, and we are going through those and adding some new bits. So category, content, audit reports, and widgets in use reports. So helping you maintain your system, manage your system as webmasters. We're looking at our event reoccurrence options. So if you have anybody's using that module and struggling with it, let me know, because we'll be feeding that into work over the course of the year. We're currently working on the user interface for adding notes to more workflow actions. So at the moment, you can send a note back if you reject a task, but we're going to add that if you're sending a task through, so that your workflow, your publishers, your authors can tell you what they've changed when they send something for approval, and you can also give them feedback if you approve it. And we will be looking at event submissions in Galaxies. That's already a feature if you're using our Photon template library, but not a feature at the moment if you're using our legacy library. And that was a really quick whistle-stop tour of our feature request. And roadmap, we've done URL structures. We've got a few bits to mop up on there. MailChimp integration is our next featured integration, hopefully, and Windows Server 2016 support is pretty near, maybe in the next month. Longer term, we're looking at document import-export so that you can move content between different sites. Custom fields, adding custom fields so that you can create some slight differences in how what fields are available when you're creating documents. And big theme is going to be personalization tools so that you can offer different content to people based on their profile. And that is